back and welcome to a September anticipated releases video. The first one might be a bit redundant given that I'm excited for these to come out soon, but I've actually got an advanced reading copy of the first one, and that is The Order of Masks. And this one follows Myra and Scarlett. Myra has spent the majority of her life running because her mother says that they need to, but has not explained why. And then one day Myra wants to enter the trials to become a warrior for the king, and everything after that goes pear-shaped and her world gets turned upside down. Then we've got Scarlett, who is a royal, but she's half-blooded compared to the princes, and her father doesn't really care about her. She's spent her life on a knife's edge and she's trying to carve a space out for herself, and the two obviously meet. However, this book was marketed as a romantasy, and it is not a romantasy. It is a fantasy book with some subplots of romance, and I have enjoyed this so far, but because it was set up initially with the expectation that this was romantasy, I went in with a different focus and a different mood to what this book is actually presenting to me, and I haven't quite finished it yet. And so far I like the writing style. I can respect and understand the complexity of the politics, and I'm quite impressed by it given that it's a debut book and also by an Australian author, which personally makes me quite proud. But aside from that, my expectations have really stunted my enjoyment of this book because obviously they were misaligned when I started, so that's been a bit disappointing. And whenever a romantic scene comes up, a lot of the time it goes either fade to black or it doesn't continue, and so to market this as romantasy I feel is a mismarket of the book itself. It's not a female-female romance either. These two characters potentially are related, so it was very much mismarketed to me when I first picked this up. So if you want to read this, I would encourage you to, but bear in mind that it is a fantasy and it's got great political intrigue and family undertones, but it is well worth giving a try, and this one comes out on the 10th of September. Next up on my radar for September, I've got a book by Lex Croucher, who wrote this historical young adult romance, and all of those things are things I do not reach for, but this was absolutely an outlier because Lex Croucher's writing has such levity and joy in there, as well as being detailed and also comfortably queer, which is all stuff that I'm into. So Lex has another book coming out called Not for the Faint of Heart, and this one was an Arthurian adjacent retelling, and Not for the Faint of Heart is a Robin Hood retelling. And again, I'm not a huge retellings person, but it seems like Lex Croucher has really hit that sweet spot for me. And this one follows the granddaughter of Robin Hood and then the girl that she has accidentally kidnapped. And I think it's about these two unlikely characters having to work together to get to an end goal. And so it probably starts as almost enemies or rivals to romance. It will be a sapphic romance, and I'm really looking forward to reading Lex Croucher's dialogue and just having a great time, because with this one there were often moments that I would laugh out loud with the dialogue, and I would also read moments aloud to Dave and he would laugh as well even though he had no context. So it was so fast paced and just snappy with the dialogue, and I'm really looking forward to a new one by Lex coming out very soon. And I've just checked the release date on Goodreads, and 2 weeks ago it said it was coming out in September. Now it says that it's coming out at the end of November, so I don't know what to believe, and I feel like I have personally been wronged given that I thought this was a September release in my September video. But maybe with Australia there's different release dates, I don't know. Sometimes things just go awry in that area, but if it's not a September release I apologize, but now I'm looking forward to November. Next up, I know that this one is definitely a September release, and that is The Wedding Forecast by Nina Kenwood, and she generally writes romantic books, but the past few books that she's written, the characters have been in that new adult phase, like 18, just finished school, or young adult. But this one, The Wedding Forecast, is an adult book and the characters are 30, and I'm so excited. So it's about this woman who is the bridesmaid and her ex Joel, who is a groomsman, and they're obviously at her best friend's wedding, and I feel like at some point they're going to get back together because the situation will push them together, so that proximity. I'm looking forward to the writing style of Nina Kenwood. She's got that great tone and vibe to her storytelling that just makes you feel not only immersed but also just full of joy. And I've heard that between the levity and joy, this one also has a almost foundational, like bringing you back to earth discussion that can be a bit heavier, and I don't know what that is. So I'm looking forward to getting into this one and seeing the whole spectrum of emotions happen, because Nina Kenwood is an author that I really admire, and I'm really looking forward to a story that has characters who are 30, because I don't want to read about 18-year-olds anymore, aside from obviously the young adult Lex Croucher book that I just talked about. And thankfully that one comes out on the 3rd of September, so right near the beginning of the month I can get my hands on it and sink my teeth into it. I'm really excited about it. Then I've got a fantasy book, and this one might surprise you because I stopped reading the other series this author had written because it was young adult fantasy, but this one I think is adult, and it's called The Gods Below by Andrea Stewart, and she wrote The Bone Shard Daughter, but this is a completely different series. It says it's a series that is set in a world ravaged by ancient magic, where precious gemstones bestow magical abilities on the few individuals able to harness their power. Honestly, this sounds awesome. Full of clandestine power struggles and the battles between gods, the story follows Hakara, a young woman searching for her missing sister, who will do anything to find her, even lead a rebellion against the gods themselves. I am so excited for this, and this author completely fell off my radar until now. And this book comes out on the 5th of September, so also very close to the beginning of the month. Honestly, gods, rebellion, gemstones, and magic, I'm intrigued. So in between all of my romance, I'm going to hopefully pick up this fantasy as well. But those are my September anticipated releases that have recently come up on my radar. I didn't know about them 6 months ago. So if there are any others that I'm missing, please let me know. But thank you so much for watching this video. Come and chat to me down below in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.